Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of God, welcome to another episode of Journey with the Omondis. And yes, it's been a year and a half. No, it's just been like 7 months, and we are glad to announce that we've made it, all right? Because we've made it to the end of the year, and this is, yes, the second last episode. Can you imagine that? Yani tunakafunga. We are coming to the end of this year with this journey. But this is not to mean that the journey stops. The journey continues next year. Tunaanza mambo mengine mapya, all right? We'll be talking about now after marriage. So hii mwaka tunakafunga na wedo moja grand. Sawa sawa. Hii mwaka tunakafunga vimeja. All right? Na kawe ni minor, wewe hufai hakuwa hapa. But hii mwaka tunakafunga proper na harusi. Next week tunafanya harusi, all right? So join us this week tukienda moja kwa moja every day tukihesabu ma days towards the wedding, and after the wedding tutasema yes, story sasa inabadilika inakuwa after I do. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the official gang wale yani wanakuaga ondo watu wetu hapa hivi. So put your hands together for unacheki venye wameshika ring hapo hivyo. Put your hands together for the Omondis as they come on stage. All right. Wadau, Izao. Is vipi?
It's cool.
It's cool. Poa sana manze. It's good to see you. Man. Good to see you. Yeah, man. So mnaweza karibisha wase alafu ndio niendelee na Mushene.
Karibuni sana wase. Good to have you again today as we continue on with the journey with the Omondis. This is a place where we get to tell our God story, hoping that you also find God in your story as well. But then it's also a place where we just refresh ourselves, looking back at how life has been for us, thanking God where we need to thank God, but then of course learning where we need to learn. And I hope that the journey adds value to you. This is ministry, so we pray that it adds value to you. Karibuni sana. Wherever you're joining us from, you are most welcome.
Asanteni sana, asanteni sana. Wix, go ahead.
I was just saying karibuni sana. It's naona mwenyekiti ashafika. It's awesome to be here today. Yeah, maybe Danole tuanze na check in. Unaonaje?
Sawa. Let's do it. In fact, wacha kwanza niwape full screen ndio hii check in iweze. All right? But karibu sana to everybody who is joining us online. Karibuni sana. Wix, you can go ahead and please check. How are you?
Sasa imekuwa depo sana na I'm excited. Kimetusumbua kiasi. Yeah, but all in all, nashukuru God ametupatia hiyo opportunity. Just hiyo inconvenience ya network, internet. We are still here to share the goodness of the Lord, and there's nothing that will stop us from sharing His goodness. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Bless you. It's all well. All right. Buddha, unaweza check in pia. Iko nini? All right. Yes, we continue to remind you that this is the second last episode. So next week,
I think we did this.
All right, go ahead. All right, we seem to have lost. All right, okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was just explaining what checking is happening in you, which could be caused by what has happened around you. and openly sharing that. That's what we call check-in. Yeah, so I check in excited. I'm excited that we can do this again, and also excited that we are actually nearing the end of the year and closing 2020 season of Journey with Ommondis. Excited that we have had some of you who have been consistently joining us in the journey, and I believe that it adds value to you. Can still are also checking in. But then, yeah, facing the challenge of internet, but we'll maneuver through that. With that, Amin.
Bless you.
Bless you. All right. Yeah, so Laura.
And good to see you, Laura.
Laura, it's good to see you. I wish you could check in, but you can text, you can chat there. Tuambie una check in wapi, una check in aje with your, key emotions. We have, some of the key emotions. Sasa zingine tunasikia mathogodhanio. Mathogodhanio is a sum total of sadness, anger, happiness, excitement, tenderness. Yani, it's all that. So it is important you get in touch with yourself, with exactly what is going on. Ukisikia unasikia umeboeka, it's good to ask yourself, nini inaweza kuwa imefanya naboeka? Maybe it's because of something that you've lost. It could be losing appetite. It could be losing a friend. It could be losing, something, or it could be caused by, unmet expectations. Maybe you didn't expect that, 7 minutes in, we would still be checking in. Ulikuwa nafikiria sahi story imebamba, and so unasikia tu umeboeka. All right, so check in with yourself. All right, so check in. Alafu tuambie hapo hivyo, and it's good to be authentic with yourself first, and with God, and that's how you get help. So unajianalyze, unacheki ile machine ya kuscan. People are wondering, why is it important? Why are we talking about this? Is because it is part of the journey. It is part of the journey. If you don't do this, then you might as well cause so many people harm and hurt, right? So ni kama ile scan ya security, unajiscan mpaka mali unasikia kanalia sana, na hapo kuna nini? Hapo kuna chuma. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, welcome to Journey with the Ommondis. Na leo tunakaribia kukafunga. Right? Yes, because it's the second last episode, and we are excited to announce that next week, next week, Ninjahe. Next week, ni kung'ara. Buda, sijui kama next week watu wakuja na gown, unaonaje?
Kama uko na gown home unaweza kuja nayo.
Yes, but
Ankara maybe. Kuja na Ankara.
Na Ankara. But yes, today we are talking about something else. Today we are preparing for our wedding. All right? Hivyo ndo hawa wameniambia. Nimeona kwa YouTube yenu mmeandika hivyo, preparing for our wedding. I'll be asking you a few questions about that. Okay? So mimi nataka tu kujua, now that harusi ni ya next week, what are you doing before your wedding? And it could be maybe 1 week to your wedding, or I don't know how long. How long was it after this day? Hiyo day iko wapi? How long was it after this day to your wedding? Na wacha kwanza tuanze. Mulidate for how long, by the way? Msiona ishaanza.
Okay, this hii picha niko hapa ilikuwa ni hiyo siku ya engagement. And the engagement was on 23rd of August 2015. Now we're doing it will happen 9th of April 2016.
So like 8 months, But sasa kutoka mjuane mpaka harusi. Kutoka mjuane mpaka mjuane. Ini wachache wataelewa. Ilikuwa how long?
It must have been, that was around
maybe 1 year.
Kutoka kujuana ile meeting, we could say that was 1 year, 1 year and about 4 months. But from the moment we committed to each other, that should be about 6 months.
The wedding.
From
No.
The engagement.
April to April, 1 year.
April to April. Okay. It's 1 year.
Dating ilikuwa ya 1 year.
Yes. Till the wedding.
Dating na kila kitu yote.
1 year.
Yes.
Yes.
Na kuna mtu tangu engagement ni miaka 6.
Acha hizo.
Anyway, yeah, so this is so after hii pete ni how long?
This was August. The wedding came in April. That was 6 months, Ama. Help me count.
Around 8, I think ni 8.
Chani hesabu count.
Naona ukicount.
Unajua nafanya kama Otis. Mamake angekuwa tu hapa ampatie tu coffee for what?
Ni 8 months. Yes.
8 months. But kuna last week we looked at another event ilikuwa Rorashio. So after Rorashio to now your wedding, how long was that?
Rorashio ilikuwa December na wedding ilikuwa April. So ni 4 months.
4 months.
All right. So unapanga hii kitu sasa kutoka Januari mpaka April. Hapo ndio planning inaendelea, right?
Yes.
Anza story sasa. So what's happening?
Well, I think first I had myself. I had planned this whole thing. It was all in my mind before now the date. Okay, the date that we talked about few weeks back. And like we said, when I asked her out at that moment, I was clear. I had a clear path of how I would like us to move forward from that moment. So I had proposals for month proposals for each of those events that were to take place, which I proposed, and I think we agreed to everything except the date of the wedding, which we had to put from. I had proposed 12th December, and because of a reason, because a friend of ours was going to wed on the same date, we decided let's push it to the next holiday, okay? To include every constituent of the people or our contacts. Yeah, so hapo tayari nilikuwa, I was showing up with a plan, but then of course now after that meeting, after that date, now we started working out the plan together, I think, and quickly we started putting fingers on what needs to be happening. We did what we call the critical path. I'm glad I learned this while I was training for pastoral ministries at Livestream, which came in very handy. So we started from the wedding coming back. Okay, so we pushed the date of the wedding to 9th April, and we started asking ourselves, so what needs to be happening just before the wedding and coming back? What needs to be happening just before this, all the way to now, the very date that we were at, and that helped us have a clear path, a clear plan of what we needed to do. Just to put some stuff there, so we knew that we cannot wed until know where she comes from. I don't know whether we had thought about the pre-wedding, but I think it is something that lingered some in our minds. We felt that, of course, because this is something that she had seen happening in her community. There will be a send-off ceremony of some sort. Okay, so we knew that will be the last thing that will happen before. Now the community at Kitui is ready to come for the wedding, but before that we needed to have done the rorashio, okay, to indicate that yes, to be given the green light and to be told now it's okay, you can go on with the wedding plans, okay. So then that came in, but then before the rorashio there needed to be negotiations. You get going backwards like that. But before the negotiations, I needed to have visited the family with my parents, just to show or to indicate the interest that we have in her family. But before that, I needed to also just visit myself with a friend, or just go to be, to be known, so that they see or they say there is a guy that has visited here with Mikali. So just working around that, but then also in between we had an issue. We had thought of bringing in now the community committee, okay, such stuff. So who do we invite for these different events? Okay, how soon do we begin talking to them? How soon should we start talking to them? Support. How do we go about seeking for support and all that? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mux anaweza ongeza kitu.
I think amesema most of the things, but now maybe just point out now some of the practical things that we did. We put together a committee. Tulikaa chini tukajiuliza ni watu wagani tungetaka wako kwa committee, and then we wrote the names, and then we started talking to those people, and we managed to put together a committee yenye ilikuwa itusaidia na kuplan the wedding. Nakumbuka that committee ili start on Feb, because I remember it was the time Diana was going to Korea. It was in Feb, on Feb. That is when the committee was starting now. Yeah, so the committee started working. We got a chairman, a treasurer, and just having people knowing what been given responsibilities, and then we started now asking ourselves, how can we raise our funds? We started talking about service providers. We started talking about the lineup and all those things. And that is also the time that we started to. That is the time we went to AG as well, just to clear with the AG. Yeah. Yes, Dano?
Yeah, hapo tu umemalizia this AG process. I know times have changed right now, but to the guys who are getting married, this season, maybe they would like to know how was it then and what has changed, what's different now. How was it like for you? Can you remember?
Manze process sikumbukangi kwa, but I don't. For us, it wasn't really that hard, because tulienda huko kwa AG, I think 3 times, and yeah, tulienda 3 times. The first time, the second time, tulienda kufanya ingine ndio tukaenda kufanya interview or something, and then we went for the certificate.
So mara tatu pekee.
Tulienda mara tatu, and hizo time zote hatukukuwa na issue, as in it was just okay. I would say for us it was just a smooth process, because hakukuwa na watu wengi. Yeah, it was just normal process.
But I think I don't know whether the concern or the issue should be whether it should be an easy process or not, because this is a process that facilitates you, okay, to achieve your objective. So I think the thing that really helped us was being aware on especially the deadlines, okay, because when you go there, they will guide you and they will tell you what you need to do next and within what duration of time. So I think the good thing to do, which we did, was working within the given deadlines. and that is what made the process smooth and easy, like Mwix is putting it. Yeah. And being clear on what they need from you. Like, for example, if you are told
certificate of the officiating pastor.
Yes, for example, if you're told next time you come with a certificate of a copy of the officiating minister's certificate. Okay, so that is something you want to remember. You don't want to go and forget, and you want to prioritize it. You go and then you quickly follow up on that, ensure that you have it before the date that you need to go back, and even as you leave, going there, you confirm that you have it, so that they do not send you back for something. And I think they also ask copies of IDs. There's some documents that they ask for. Others you can get right there in case you forget, but it's just helpful to be clear. I think that is what I would say. We sorted to be clear on what was required of us. But then also there is a part that is very important, which also sort of helps you also to be aware on what that office will need from you. And this is the officiating ministry or minister. They also need to guide you by the way. They're not just coming to tell you to repeat after them. I do. Okay. They're playing a key role. So while you're reaching out to this man or this woman to officiate your wedding, you could ask for guidelines. I mean, like I know, for example, Livespring has clear guidelines that you can actually see even online and know what is required of you. And these guidelines also help you prepare even with regard to the Attorney General's office. Yeah. So it's don't just assume that things will happen. That's the thing that we were able to avoid, and I think it's because we consulted widely.
And talking of consultation, Lois Ndegwa was very key in guiding us concerning the AG. She guided us on how to go about it, the time that is as in the right duration to start the process. Yeah, and I think that really helped.
Who is Lois Ndegwa?
Lois is the lady in charge of marriage ministries in Livespring Chapel. Yeah, so
I think that is important because as we plan and prepare for weddings, it is important we be in touch with our local church for some of these things, all right? So that we don't just tokelezea one day na tunataka kufanya harusi. I think why it was easier for you, because you're mentioning names here. It seems like you had a community, you had so much support around you, and I think it's key. And this is why we need to give it some time before, so that we also don't ambush people. There are so many people involved, so we don't ambush people. I think it's what I'm hearing is, as part of preparation, it's good to give it some time so that there's no pressure.
Well put, well said.
So my question now is, did we talk about premarital counseling at any point?
No, we didn't talk. But
is this what is happening during this time? When did that happen?
It was happening during that time. Tulikuwa tunakaribia kwenda retreat, the last session of the PMCC. So we had gone through the premarital classes. That was in late 2015 and early 2016.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do you think it is important?
Yeah.
Because maybe a young person is asking themselves right now, kama nimekaa na mtu yangu miaka 5, tumekuwa tukifight na labda hata kuna wiki kama 2 mimi nadunga kwake, anakuja kwangu wiki kama 2, tunajuana, what counseling do we need? Ama why is it important? Yet natumia do. Nalipa hapa hivi. Hiyo do sinaweza save niweke kwa chakula.
I think let me put it this way. I hope it will be as simple as possible. Anything that you value, you will invest on it. Anything that you value, you will put an investment. You'll be willing to invest, and investment could be your time or even resources, okay, or even comfort, okay. I mentioned those three because now that you're talking about our premarital experience, I think those three were key things that I felt that I needed to sacrifice. Okay, it was important.
All right, if you're watching us, this is Journey with the Omondis, and today we're talking about planning and preparing for the wedding, which happens next week. All right. So some of the questions that I'm asking myself, and I hope that the couples are able to assist us through the and as they share their journey, is the things that were in their journey, things like premarital counseling, things like go the community, people around them. Was it worth it? Was it necessary? And I hope that we will get there. I don't know what questions you have. You can go ahead and ask them hapo chini, and let's see how we can be of help. But if you also have a tip, maybe you've done your wedding and there is a way you can help or contribute to this, you can go ahead and comment hapo chini and let us know how your journey was. I think I saw a post somewhere during the day about the same. How was your experience? How was your wedding planning experience? Go ahead and comment hapo chini and let us know how your story, how your planning went. But then again, if you are planning a wedding, or you are in the, you are in that space where you're thinking, I think I need to settle down at this point, you can go ahead and ask questions, and then tayari kuku jibu. All right, back to the story. So umesema investment. Kama unataka uta invest. If you like it, crown it.
Crown it, yeah, that's right. If it has value, if it brings value to your life or to your desired matrimony or wedding, marriage, then you definitely will have to invest. Okay. So I went off when I was saying that premarital is important.
So
you see,
so let me ask.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, while again, I am fully aware now that we've been married not for so long, 4 months, 4 years. I will tell you outrightly, no one can prepare enough. You cannot prepare enough for marriage. I don't think there is anything you will do for you to feel now I am so ready, so ready. I am 100% ready for marriage. I do not think so. And for that reason, you shouldn't neglect any opportunity to help you prepare just a little bit. Okay? You see, at the first place, no one can say that they are ready to marry. You really cannot say that, because you get into it and you realize, Allah, while you spent, in our case, you spent 3 months doing this premarital experience, Ndoa, okay, but we still get into marriage and realize, no one told us this. Okay, now when I get into that space, I can only imagine what it feels like for someone who just walked into marriage as if they were walking into a shopping mall. And even walking into a shopping mall, you at least prepare. You groom. You do some grooming. You
take out some cash.
You take some cash. You want to go do whatever, to shop or window shop with a plan. Even that way you plan. But, I mean, you can't say that you want to get into marriage just like that. it is very important. It is as important as you can imagine.
So Buddha, hii counseling, cause labda kuna watu wapendi tu counseling. So ni counseling mnaenda mnahojiwa ama ni counseling aina gani?
Okay.
Sisi wote hatujaumbwa kuenda counseling manzi.
Okay, I think different churches have different programs for preparation of marriage. And what Life Spring offers is an experience whereby you meet with different couples who are preparing. And in our case, actually, we had some who are already married
for a number of years.
And actually, their marriage became better after the experience. Yeah. Their marriage actually became better after the experience.
And what I liked about this experience we went through was that, as opposed to, and this is not to water down what is offered in other places, okay? I know it has value. Just like I said, any opportunity you have to prepare a little bit for your marriage, please grab it. But I know that there are places where you're offered counseling just as a couple, the two of you, okay? Just the two of you. And I think that's okay. But what I really liked about what we went through was the fact that we were interacting with other 4 couples. We had Kina Chemwes, we had Kina Alex, we had Kina Devi, we had Kina Njues.
And
Mwendo's. Yes. Other 5 couples. Can you imagine? Actually. And all these couples, Kina Paul came and dropped off. All of these 4, by the way, were already married. So you can imagine the advantage that we had. We were learning so much. Not from stories, but from people who are in it.
Wow.
From people who are actually living marriage for 7, how many years? 4 years. It was very, very helpful.
Wow.
Yeah. Also something else I liked about the experience was the honesty that was there. Kwa hata kama mmekosana mlikuwa mnakuja tu kama mmekosana. And by the time kitoka hapo mnakuwa kind of as in get to realize what is the issue and you have dealt with it. So it was quite a great experience, I would say.
It was so authentic. Yani, you would walk in and the rest of the couples will know because you can't hide it. But then somehow during the conversations, during the sessions, okay, the reason why Mekosana could come up.
Yeah.
And you
most
deal
of
with
the time it would actually.
And you have to deal with it, okay, in just right there. And we go home, everyone laughing at how you came. You came angry, but now you're going back happy, right? Because you've actually been practically helped to resolve a conflict. And more than that, we had other couples who are coming to share the experience as facilitators.
Yeah. And also another advantage was the fact that after the sessions we became friends and became very tight. And you see, we can even talk about those issues even when we meet with these couples. Yeah. As in, you can be vulnerable to them because now we are friends and we are tight and each other. Okay, we don't meet often like we used to meet then.
Yeah.
But kuna hiyo two bond fulani yenye tuliform that time.
We still have a WhatsApp group that is activated once in a long while. It was activated recently.
Yeah. And actually, one of the couples came with us to plant Kamulu. The church that we came to plant, we came with them, and that's how we became friends with them. By the way, during that season, so it's also an opportunity for people to get friends.
Yeah, we cannot overemphasize that. Go for premarital counseling. Do not ignore.
Because the last thing you need is to get into marriage without people around you and people who understand your journey.
Yeah, that's true.
This gives you and allows you an opportunity to have a community. So, because kama mdem umeachana na wale wasichana walikuwa nakwambia mimi ndaolewa nikitaka. Na kama wewe ni brother umeachana na wale maboys wa check yule dem, una get. So kuna watu unatoka kwao and you need to plug yourself into a community, but sometimes age difference could be an issue because kijana anashangaa. So mi sasa ndakuwa na hang out na mabuda wa suti aje, una get? But how about go for an experience, find other couples there, whether married or single like you, and go through the same experience, and out of there build a community. How beautiful. And now that becomes your community. It becomes easier for us to plug into other things. I think this is the best thing I've had today. I mean,
we could actually big them up. We could actually just big up these guys.
Go ahead.
I don't know where the Mwendos are. We lost touch. But I hope one day you bump into this video. We appreciate the fact that you walked the journey with us through all the way to completion. We just lost touch later. Paul, thank you for being with us for a few sessions. And Mary, wherever you are, Paul Mulefu. And
the Okedes, Devi and Phoebe.
We call them Auntie and Uncle. We appreciate the fact that you are part of the journey.
Yeah,
Norman and
Jackie.
Our comedian. Jackie, our comedian.
No.
Yes.
You guys went to the same.
Our Ndoa had couples. Many of the couples were married.
But they want. So can you imagine they were already in marriage, but they saw how important it was.
Yes.
That's a way where you've not been married, but you think you can just walk into marriage and make it. It's not gonna work. I don't think so.
So you did your Ndoa with Kina Njoes and Kina Phoebe?
Yes.
And Billy and Maureen.
Yeah.
At least I nilikuwa najua.
Yes.
And then
we had crazy days.
I don't know which church. Alex leads,
and
Pastor Alex
but we had Alex and
can't remember the wife's name. She was a friend of yours.
Wow.
Yeah. So amazing people that we did live at least for
Gertrude.
Yes, Alex and Gertrude. For at least 3 months. That were amazing. And
and to see one of the other things that happened is you know, when you spend time with other people, they get to know you. So even if you're having issues, they'll just say, Aki wewe hapo, Eric hapo ndio uko na makosa. As in, because they already know you.
Point blank.
So
I remember we had a number of those where some of us will just be told,
hapo ni wewe.
Style up. You are the one who has an issue. Yeah.
What I like about this episode is that I am doing a little like zero talking, and you are doing everything. So this is a good one. I wish we discovered this earlier. I know. But in case you come in or you join in or you joined, hoping that we will talk about where to get beautiful gowns, where to get beautiful shoes. All right, it's okay. We might get there, or we will talk about it. But we thought about, how about start with what is important? Because even with a beautiful gown, an expensive ring, manze bila hizi tatu ni tricky. Ni tricky sana.
That's true.
So, kuna ndo nataka kujua, so nitapata wapi nini, rings mulitoa wapi?
Before tuende kwa rings, there is something else that is very important, which is part of the community. Yeah? Choosing the best couple.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What should we know about this? And how was your story?
I don't know if it's something you should know, but from our story, we do not regret choosing the Ombok, Eric Ombok and Judith Talikwana Ombok. Now, these guys, I think I mentioned here, were my friends. I had many friends working at Life Prince Yokimau, but this was one of the homes, and I think it's because it was close to me, but then also it was obvious. They would tell me the home is open. It's one of the homes that I would walk in anytime. I would come from work, and if I don't feel like I want to cook, I'll just go to Judy's. And Judy will be like, you hata umefanya poa kukam. And I enjoyed every moment I spent with this family, playing, and yeah, I can be very playful by the way with children. So I used to play with Martin and William. Then now they have a little sister, Jane, but then there were just those two boys. And any moment they saw me coming, they will just know that it's time to play. But then also we'll do some homework together. Okay, and I learned a bit of parenting there. This friendship rather grew so tight to a point where when now we were planning this whole wedding thing, I mean, I couldn't think of any other couple, okay, to join us in the journey. And I shared it with Mwikali. But then, of course, now Judy was still part of the staff. They had connected with Judy, okay, and it was just an easy shot for us. And we went and requested them, of course, prayerfully, and they accepted. Now, the thing I celebrate about our choice for best couple was, one, we both knew their faith. That was something that it was clear. Maybe before we go into that, one, they were a couple. They were married. Okay?
Hey, Juu, pole kukatisha. Juu, hii ni asante kwa kuleta hii story, because hii story inakuwa tricky sana.
Yes.
I see people getting different people. Umzae ama umse na mdem are not a couple. They are not married. But wanakuja kusimamia harusi yetu. Wao ndio best couple. So why is that? Kwanza, so what do you think about that, and why are you insisting that you mentioned that they were a couple? Why did you highlight that?
I'm emphasizing that. Why? Because one, they were in it. They were married. So we were going to ask them to join us in a journey, or to join us in walking a path that they are walking. They are practitioners of it. You understand? And for us, I don't know how you see it, for our viewers, for us, it was important that we do not just get friends or people who are not practitioners, people who are not in marriage. We wanted to get people who are in it, so that when we are going to them to talk about marriage, they're talking to us about something they are doing, not something they did, or not something they're hoping to do, something they're actually doing right there and then. Okay, so just on that point, before I go into the other reasons, I'll mention this. I know that today people choose friends to be, a lady chooses their best friend, a Jama chooses their best friend to come and become the, make this best couple thingy. You can go ahead and do that. But from what I have experienced, there is a lot of value in choosing people who are in marriage. Because a best couple is not just someone who is coming to smile for the experience. This is someone that you want to go to when you have an issue, and you look at them in the eye and say, this is what we are going through. Okay, how can you help us? Now, you do not want a scenario whereby you have that issue and you're calling someone. It's easier calling a couple and asking them, can we visit on Tuesday? As opposed to her calling someone who is in Dubai. And you're calling someone who is in Nakuru. And you're already discussing, so when will Andrew be available? When will Faro be available? Why? Because they are not married. They are scattered around. So it's easier to find a couple. It's easier to visit and to find them in case you need anything. But then secondly, we knew their faith. Okay. So you could also get people who are married, but you see, if they do not share faith, that's another thing. For us, we knew that if we came to talk to these guys and it's something that needed God's intervention, they will be speaking to us from the same point of view. Okay. They have the same convictions, so that we do not, we avoid a scenario whereby someone is teaching us a doctrine from elsewhere, and this other person is teaching us something else. Our pastor or our church leader tells us this, and then he's saying, but ours says this. So you see, in that scenario, you'll be confused. So it was important for us to choose people who are married, who have the same faith. Okay. Anything you want to add on this couple mix?
I think something else is just about values.
Yes.
Because one of the reasons, the other reason is why we chose them is because we knew their values. And how I can say that their values kind of match with our values. And so we knew that we will not have to compromise on what is important to us, because it's also important to them. And had spent so much time with Judy, and there are so many things even right now that ring into my mind that Judy kept on telling me, and things that have impacted my marriage positively. And so even when we were discussing and we ended up choosing them, I was confident because I had spent time with Judy and I knew her very well, and I really admired our values. Yeah, so what I can say is just about values.
All right. If people don't agree, if a couple can't agree on a best couple, where everybody wants to have their own, na wakutane siku ya harusi wawasimamie, there's a high possibility that they may not agree on so many things.
Yeah.
You said it. I mean, if you're planning a wedding and you cannot agree on the best couple, then that already tells you that there are so many things waiting that you'll not agree on. Okay? And agreeing on the best couple for the both of you. And you see, there are issues that come up by there when you're picking the best couple. It could be that maybe the Jama is connected, has a relationship with the Jama, and the lady may be struggling to build a relationship with the lady. And I think we experienced this ourselves, isn't it? Best coupling you guys recently. I mean, Audrey and Mwikali were not friends from the first incident, isn't it? Okay, so this is a relationship that needed to be worked on. Okay, and it needed sacrifice and commitment from both sides. Okay, but from your point was there is something you needed in a best couple. You and I, we already had a relationship, so there was really nothing much to work on that. But this one needed work. So what do we do in this case? It was you supporting Audrey to work on this relationship, while on the other hand, I'm also supporting Wix so that we at least achieve this common goal. Okay, so such things will be there, but the question is, do you want the best of the best couple for your marriage? Because if that is what you want, then you will compromise. You will do what you need to do for you to have what you desire for this couple. And if you just want people to come smile for the cameras, go for it. Go for it. But if you want a marriage that will rely on the support of community, beginning with the people that you invited as your best couple, then you don't want people who just smile for the camera. You want to build a relationship with them.
It's amazing how God orchestrates things. We didn't plan that this show will go like this, but I think we are now in point number 5.
And what is that?
Bridal party. Wacha tuongee hiyo. Naona ni kama leo tunaweza kuambia watu mali wanaweza pata gown.
Yeah.
So, point number 5. Bridal party. How do you settle on a bridal party? I was lucky I didn't have a bridal party myself.
Good for you.
Hebu nisikie drama.
One of the things about bridal party, hatukuwa tunataka lineup refu. Zile zinakuwa refu mpaka ni refu. So we didn't want a big lineup. So we just chose a few people. Tulikuwa na 4 ladies and 4 gents, and then a boy and a girl, and then the best couple. That was the bridal party. Ilikuwa na story. Kuna watu walikuwa
thinking about it, by the way, it was still big. Right now, thinking about it was
kuna watu walikuwa enough, lakini kukakuwa pia watu na story mob. So they didn't end up being part of it, and siku moja tu nilisnap nikasema hii wedo kuplan ni kazi mob, so since kuna watu wanataka kusumbua, acha tu wenye wanataka kusumbua tu wakae tu kando, and let's just concentrate with wenye wako ready, because unajua sometimes there are some decisions that need to be made so that you can move on. And I just said, this is my wedding. I'm not trying like to please people. It's my wedding, and I would like people to support me, but not to behave in a way that will that will make me feel like they're trying to frustrate me, you know. And so there are some people who are supposed to be in the lineup, but they did not end up being the lineup. Yeah, and the ones that were ready, they were in the lineup. But sasa kulikuwa na story ya nguo. Tukapata fundi and that fundi watu wakaenda wakapima nguo, wakalipa ma deposits and all that. Manze, 1 week to the wedding, manze fundi akapotea na nguo. Alipotea tu na nguo. Ati 2 weeks to the wedding tumeenda, tumempata, sijui amehama, amefungiwa, okishenia sijui amefanya nini, walikuwa walipi rent coastal yao. Just so many stories. Then siku moja tu simu yake imezima, we cannot reach him, and story kesha tu hapo. So I remember it was on a Saturday, the last Saturday ndio hiyo Saturday nyingine kwa wedo. Now the best man akaambia Eric, now you have to go to town and see these things. And that is now we decided so tukaenda tao. Sasa Eric na Eric mwenzake, the best man now, wakaanza kupiga malafu kwa tao. Wakitafuta zile nguo zenye zimefanana, as in the same colors zenye ziko ready.
Nairobi textile.
So just looking for just clothes with the same color.
I remember what we said. Eric told me, I hope tukienda tu tupate tu mahali kuna mtu ako tu na nguo kadhaa zinafanana. Eric, we are taking that. Hatuna options. And that's what we did by then. Together we met this guy called Larry. This designer called Larry, alikuwa na some nice tops, shirts, some African shirts, and we liked them. Tukazichukua, hivyo ndo tulibadilisha,
tuliongeza color blue,
tukaongeza color cold chase, sasa color team imeongeza, imebadilika kiasi, we have to tweak.
Yeah.
So uliva white kwa harusi yako. So that was not what you had planned.
No, for me yangu alishona mapema.
Nakachukua before aende.
Nakachukua mapema. So that is the only thing that we got from this fundi. He still has the rest of the clothes, by the way.
So should we say organize with fundi mapema?
Yes. In fact, what I learned is kama harusi yako ni 4th, mwambie harusi yako ni 2 weeks earlier.
Or even a month earlier.
Earlier. So that you don't, these things, I used to hear about these things, but they happened.
Yeah, and but now the huyo fundi mwenye tulipata Larry, he did a great job. Alifanya nguo za maids within 3 days. Kila kitu ilikuwa, it was done.
He was to help.
Perfect. There's no adjustment or anything.
He did an amazing job. I actually referred my cousin to him. He still did an amazing job.
Yes.
So I think he was God sent. He felt us. We told our story. In fact, akatuambia just buy material. Don't want any deposit. Just buy me materials. I do my job. Mkuje come pay after. I don't want to stress you more.
Yeah, and something else is what to pia wakalipa the bridal party. They paid a second time. Unajua sasa yule mwingine alikuwa amepotea na pesa na mwenye alikuwa amelipa the full amount. So at least walikubali wakalipa tena.
Yes. And there's something I'd like to say about that. Talking about the bridal party, like Mick said, as you plan your wedding, I don't think you want someone to cause you more stress.
Yeah.
So avoid that. I don't think I would have wanted that to rely on someone that would have done something that would pressure me more. So if you can avoid that, I think that would be something nice to do. So for the bridal team, yeah, look for people who are reliable, people who are people who have integrity. Okay, people you can rely on their commitment. See, not just choosing anyone. You might not have someone in your among your relatives who is reliable. So if it will mean you don't have a relative in the bridal team, so be it. Okay. If the people that are reliable are just friends, then put your friends. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you are saying is, the bridal team has more than just looking good for the camera. This is your support team, and if they're not supporting you, they are giving you problems. That's not a bridal team. Only
if you're planning a wedding and you've invited someone to be in a bridal team, you're the one calling, keeping reminding them they need to go give their measurements, you know, and such stuff. Itakupatia pressure. They need to be aware that they are coming alongside you to support you. They are coming alongside you to make the day successful. They are pulling an important part to make the day come out the way you desire. Okay, they are not. They shouldn't be among the people who are giving you pressure. There could be a service provider who is putting a lot of pressure on you already. So you don't want your team, because that is your team. You don't want your team to be doing the same. Okay. But then also there's usually a lot of people who are doing a lot of work in the background. Okay. While the bridal team is the one that is seen, and your Eric can choose, you know, and they've dressed for the occasion and all that. There are so many people who are on the background doing a lot of stuff. Okay.
Ule boy were parking.
Exactly. Choose those people also very strategically. Don't just pick anyone. Hao ni watu yako. That is your mbogi. Okay. When you're saying ule jama yuko in charge of transport, you say their job is to ensure that every car is where it is needed when it is needed, doing what is needed to do. They're doing a big job. So you don't want to pick someone because they are a relative. You don't want to pick someone because you went to high school with them. You want to pick someone who will deliver and ensure that while you're smiling, Uko, it is for sure. There's a lot of work that is done. Okay. Yeah.
When hata kama kuna ball ita drop,
yes,
utakuja kujua tu baadaye. And then
when hata ikifika mahali mnashikwa na makara watasema washikwe, nyinyi muende honeymoon.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think another component yenye I would like us to talk about new story ya committee. Our committee worked really hard. They worked really hard. I remember at some point tuliambiwa nyinyi sasa concentrate on other things. Let us now take the burden for you. So the committee really took a lot of burden off our shoulders, and wakarantu na vitu mob. Wale wenye walikuwa wamepa responsibilities walifanya kazi yao poa, wenye walikuwa transport overall, wenye walikuwa in charge of event chairs, and just everything just worked out the way it worked, the way it was expected to work, because everyone pulled their part.
I agree on that. Now, one of the things that I think we did, and as we tell these stories, I want to believe that it's the Lord, because we were doing everything prayerfully. We would pray for every event, we would pray for every meeting, we would meet and pray ourselves. So prayer was a very key component of this journey, and that's why we call it God's story. And I think the Lord just kept writing this story, and He gave us favor. He led people to sacrificially just show their love for us. And He also gave us, since we were praying, He also ordered our steps. He gave us wisdom on on who to ask to do what, and all these things. So one of the things that I really believe that the Lord gave to us as an idea was in choosing the committee, we sort of involving, we thought of involving, those people who you would call the elderly, okay, those who've gone ahead, but then also bring, but also so that they learn. But the elderly, you see, the elderly also have resources, so it was also strategic. You sell your vision in a way that is appealing to them. They will sacrifice their time, they will sacrifice their resources. But then who do we bring along to also see this as an opportunity to build networks and also learn? So our committee had both younger, I remember people like CD committing a lot of their time, coming, people like Becky, okay, young adults who showed up for committee meetings. They supported. I think some of them were even given roles. Liz was that? I can't remember. But we had young adults, a number of young adults who were part of the committee, but we had also the elderly people, the older people who were steering the committee, and they did an amazing job. Now, that balance helped us. Why? Because we had those who were not in it, and it was an opportunity for them to learn. And we had those who were in it, and they were giving back, and I'm imagining they were aware that, this mistake could happen, like man, and they were helping Eric and Mwikali not to make the same mistakes they made. Okay, you understand? So don't have a committee that just has your friends, your young friends, without a balance. They might not know some of the things that will be key to you.
Yeah, and I think also having older people around you, they give you advice, and they guide you, and that also will call you to also listen to them. Sometimes you can be given advice and say, but I also acknowledge the fact that we listen and to give them opportunity to lead us. Wakituambia kitu would consider it, to not just brush it off. And I think that also encouraged them to even support us even more. Yeah.
We made our own mistakes from the onset, putting together the committee, Uko Mbele Mbele. I think we did things our own way. We made our own mistakes. And I think it's from such mistakes that they also saw, things could go or could become one, and they offer themselves to support. Okay.
Right. Guys, you just you did 10 points, close to 10 points in 1 hour.
Wow.
Right?
Those are many points.
Yeah.
Should have summarized 5.
So this is amazing. This is amazing. But my question at this point now is, where did you see God? There's so much we will need to leave out, and especially how you got your shoes, the stories around that. Hii ni kama itaenda kwa siku ya harusi, your gown na hizo vitu zote. But what is where did you see God in this planning season? Ni wapi unasema aki hapo ilikuwa God? I know it's so many areas, but if you can just pick one each, tumalize as your parting shot. I think inaweza kuwa poa sana.
I think I like to appreciate 2 people, Chess and Huri. At some point when I say were too overwhelmed, so they just decided. Chess, I don't know if it's Chess or Huri. One of them decided to create a group, and tulikuwa just them and us, and then just tell us, okay, we'll talk about everything here, and then us will go and communicate in the group. So we'll actually carry all the burden, and you guys will just information to mtakuwa mnatupatia, but we'll carry all the burden. And they did exactly that. I'd say they carried all the burden that was there, and you could rest easily knowing that these 2 are carrying everything on their shoulders. They're doing everything. Chess was there with me, stories, a gown and all that. So I really appreciate them. I saw God in these 2 ladies. They give their monies, they gave time, money, and sacrificed everything for that day to be a success. Mtu kaa Chess alikuwa tu ni kama msee wa mkono hiyo siku ya wedo, because she gave everything for that wedding to be what it was, and I really saw God in her, and so I'm really grateful to these two ladies and all the entire community of Syokimau.
Wow. It's good that you said you picked just one, because thinking about the whole journey, the story, I mean, God's hand, God's presence was just with us all through. And like I said, I think it's because we were aware, we knew that we cannot do this without God. That was too obvious. And we said, then let's begin right there by allowing God to be in charge of all this. And indeed, his presence came in a big way. I mentioned earlier, we dated broke. I asked a lady out broke. I was planning a wedding broke, but the Lord provided through people. And when people say that your network is your net worth, that is so true. That is so true. But then also it also goes back to who are you to people, because I think that's a big question. People will want to be associated to you because of who you are to them. I mean, who are you? They'll ask themselves, who is this guy? Okay. So if they know you in a good way, they will respond. I saw incidents where I just felt this must have been God who asked this man or this woman to do this. Okay. I saw many incidents. Such one that I think of up to this date was Peter Muley. Peter Muley from the community of Syokimau, Live Stream Syokimau, was the first man to arrive at the venue. His car was supposed to be used among the other cars, and he was the first one. And that, when I heard that, it shocked me, because he's the last person I thought would give that kind of support. Okay, I saw that and felt, wow, Peter might have, loved us in a particular way, and I saw God in that. But then also the support that I had in just through the community of men in Live Stream Syokimau. Wow, manze, the men. I supported. I appreciate Mast of Syokimau. Then I think, who was the chairman? Was it
Agwanda?
No. The chairman was
Of the committee?
Mast. The chairman of Mast was,
No,
I think it was either Joel Maganjo or Norman. One of those. You did an amazing job. And of course, my namesake Eric Agwanda for leading, chairing the committee. I saw God working. I saw, yani ni mob going to my trips to Kitui zilikuwa ni kama ni church. It was like service imeenda ku happen Kitui. So many people wanted to come, and so many people came, and the support was tremendous. The ladies, the support that came, some of those things we'll talk about the next Sunday when we talk about the wedding. I mean, these ladies gave themselves totally. And you could only, all of you and those that have not mentioned here, you only did that because the Lord asked and allowed you to do it.
We will. I mean, we've missed so much. I mean, I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, yani, because when this show was starting, we were supposed to talk about other things, but it's quite. I mean, God changes stories in a big way, and I'm grateful that He purposed this story go this direction. So thank you very much for sharing your story, and for allowing God to lead you into sharing these that you've shared. Those were, I think, 10 points that were very key to note. And if you are keen, you are there, you're watching, you're listening, and you are serious about this, before you do, consider those things. Sawa, itakusaidia. Thank you very much, everybody who tuned in. We love you so much. Just a minute. Love you so much. And next week, we'll be doing our last episode of 2020. Can you imagine that? When we come back again in January 2021, we start a new one. We start a new series, and it will be dubbed After I Do. So this is the Kwatuma stories after we do. But we also have an interesting thing that we'll be telling you next week. Maybe something that you need to be part of. So we will be requesting you, to think about it, to consider and sign up, because a journey is about that. If you've been listening to this journey, at this point, maybe you are sitting and you're wondering, yeah, I think I would want to sit down one day, many years later, and tell my story. So how about start this story well, all right? Twende pamoja. Yeah, let's create memories, let's create stories next year by starting well. So we'll be telling you what you need to do in the next episode. So invite your friends, invite your neighbors, invite your single friends, invite everybody who needs to be part of this journey. We have enough space in this car. So karibuni sana. Mimi ni conductor wenu kama kawaida, and I like it when we get to a destination. Thank you very much. It's been real, it's been fun, it's been amazing. But meet next. For the year. Sawa?
Yeah.
Right. Asanteni sana watu wangu wadau. Is a wrap, and tonight hawa si wanaishi kwa park. Unasikia hizo cricket zinalia? Yes, that's a game. Ukienda kwao ni kama unaenda kwa game drive. All right? So shout out and big up. How you manage to do this show, hiyo ni story tutasema baadaye. After I do. After choices that you've made after you do. You did.
Unajua before I do, watu walikuwa broke. After I do, mwanzego atakam.
Haya, wacha tutasikia, wewe shikilia tu hapo. Tutasikia story. Next week it is. So see you same time, same place. God bless you. Baraka, and we love you.